Okay. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as you know, a couple weeks ago I started the Crochet and Knit podcast, which is funny, I call it the Crochet and Knit even though I mostly crochet. So that's funny. If you are new to this channel, then welcome. I do have older videos such as, like, I think there's makeup, tags, but I'm like transitioning into like a creative side for my channel. And if you've been here since I started, then welcome back. You would have seen that this podcast has started. So today it is episode 2 of the Crochet and Knit podcast, but today is also Christmas, so this is going to be the Christmas special. And behind us, we managed to get the tree in the picture with all the yarn. And that card, actually, do not open it all the way. That's like right in front of the tree. Because it screeches like a cat.
Yes.
It like just screeches. It doesn't like meow. It literally just squeals.
Yes.
So the only thing missing is if the tree would light up. But it actually looks, actually all the yarn clustered together actually looks pretty good.
It does.
For the background, you get to see it all. Which I went a little, what was it, last time I was here?
Yeah.
I went a little cake roll happy. I sat down and I think I did probably most of that show.
She only wanted to roll up a few.
Which turned into 18 or 20. I got a little yarn cake rolling happy.
Just a little.
Was gonna do more, but if I did any more, they'd be falling off the shelf. So today I have Bobby Lee, which she runs the Inspired Knitting podcast over on her channel. How long have you been?
I've been podcasting for 10 years, but the Inspired Knitting, I think I only started that 3 years.
I think you're on
over 3 years.
You took a 1 year break from it, so I think you're on episode 16.
Yeah, episode 16 is out now.
Yeah. And you do crochet, well, knitting. I think it's mainly knitting.
Mostly knitting now, but there is a bit of crocheting in there and some other stuff. Funny.
I do crocheting and barely any knitting.
Yeah.
And you do knitting and barely any crocheting. Kind of got like an opposite thing going here.
Yeah.
That's kind of pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Because I actually learned I prefer crocheting over knitting. It's something that I know it's like a very small thing to prefer one or the other over, but I find having 2 needles to focus on is too much for me.
Right.
I like with crocheting that it's just one hook.
Yes.
Throughout the whole thing, so if you drop a loop, you're only dropping that one loop.
Exactly.
And it's not hard to pick it up again. So I think it was 3 days ago only. Mm-hmm. No, it was 5 days ago. I called Bobby up and asked if Dad would want me to come over for Christmas, because he would have to come get me, because I live an hour and a half away from here. But oddly enough, if there was a bridge across the river, I'd only be like 10-20 minutes.
Pretty much.
Because we're like almost opposite the river. But you gotta go 45 one way, turn 45 the other, and then back. It's like a 3-hour round trip to come get me. Hour and a half one way, hour and a half back.
Pretty much.
And then wherever you stop. So I usually like to come for like 1 week, 2 weeks. It's usually a week, but this time because of New Year's, I'm staying an extra week. We're
kidnapping her longer.
So I can spend Christmas, which is today, and New Year's with my dad. He called us up, we hinted we wanted to do some holiday baking. And he's like, okay, make a list of what you think you will need. So, of course, we went to the addictive pinning site of Pinterest.
Don't tell women to make a list, okay, guys? That's a bad thing to do.
We looked up a lot of stuff, and a lot of we found these really nice sugar cookie rolls.
Yes.
But it would have taken like a long, long list. But I'm actually surprised we managed to get, I think we only put 7 things down on it. Because we had some stuff.
We had some stuff.
The only thing we weren't able to get is sprinkles. So we made, well, I made, I guess.
Yes, you made those.
I was in charge of the sugar cookies, which is just, I think this one only took like a few ingredients. And I just melted down some chocolate chips and drizzled them all over.
They're so good.
I think you were the first one to dip into it. I think, how many cookies have you had?
I think I've had 3 of them.
I've only had 1.
I asked her, I'm like, did you take a picture of them yet? And she's like, no. And so I wait for her to take the picture. I'm like, okay, good.
Just swipes it off the pan. I was also in charge of making the bark, which we realized after that what else we should have done with it. Because we melted like a whole bag of chocolate chips and smeared it on, of course we put it on parchment paper.
Yes.
And I mixed chocolate chips in it and patted them down on it, so it has like a double M&M effect.
Yeah, it's so good.
But we realized that we should have got a pack of white chocolate chips too.
Yeah.
And like, still together on the same pan, like 1/2 chocolate, 1/2 white chocolate, and like take a butter knife and swirl it together.
Oh, that would have been good.
To make like a mixed bark.
Yes.
But, so we got the sugar cookies, the bark. We still have to make 2 lemon pies for tonight.
Yes.
And the log cake roll.
Yes, the brown sugar.
Oh,
things.
no, it's not a cake roll. It's a cookie roll? How would you explain it?
It's actually an Acadian recipe called pet de soeur, and if you watch my episode 16, I actually explain pet de soeur in French is actually really funny because it's called a nun's fart.
I had to laugh at that one.
I want to know where this name come from. This is just
But I guess
too funny.
in the cooking industry there is like a lot of
But they really are good.
And so we still gotta make that, and I think the only other thing that's completed is the they're like a knotted roll. You have the specific name for it.
Oh, the rolls?
Yeah.
The challah bread rolls.
Yeah, challah bread rolls. Should have brought one over to.
Yeah.
But they're actually really neat. I can post a picture of them at the end.
Yes.
Because I do have one, I can post it at the end of this video. So we should probably get into the crocheting and projects by now.
Yes.
Should get into it. So last week I shared with you current projects, halted projects, and finished projects. But there wasn't many in the finished project because the only ones I'd finished is like 1/2 of the boot cuff, and I think that was it that I only finished. But I figured out, well, which actually wasn't that hard. I finished the boot cuffs after I figured bit tongue-tied today.
Yes.
Figured out how to decrease, which it actually really wasn't that hard.
No.
You showed me once.
I showed her once, and she's like, could you sit beside me while I do it a second time just to make sure? And I'm watching her. She's got it. She's a pro at this stuff.
It was actually pretty simple. I just got to work on how I tie off, because I like to make sure it is really secure, apparently. That's just the buttons. I decided to because I know this is not the buttons I had on last time. Same color. But I actually took the buttons off and redid them and laid them out a different way. I like them better being side by side other than stacked on top of each other. So we figured out, so yeah, I did roughly, I can't remember which one it was now. There was one of the boot cuffs that I had gone over by like 10 stitches.
Yeah.
So each of the 5 rows, I just decreased 2.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I noticed it was supposed to be 5, 5, 5. But this one is 5, 5, 5. And this one, for some reason, is 4, 5, 4. So it's a good thing it's a personal project, and I'm the one wearing them. But I was so happy. I even wore them.
Yes.
I think I wore them to Amherst to go to the laundromat.
Yes.
To test them out. And they actually work quite well. I can also link that picture at the end. Do like a slideshow at the end of the video. The only thing that sucks with this is it does not work with the boots I had on. It makes it really bulky and tight. You more need like a thin boot, I think, to...
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was wearing my winter boots.
But they still look super cute.
Overall, and I wrote up like the pattern, how I did it. And on Ravelry. I cannot say it right.
Ravelry.
Okay, yeah, what she said. And I'm going to link it in the description below where I wrote out how I did this. And I also made now the Ravelry post only does a brief of what I did, but if you want to see exactly what I did, then I will also link the blog post I made on these. Now for the actual white itself, this is just the basic white yarn you can get by Craftsmart. For the white part of this, I use my 6mm crochet hook with the basic white yarn. But for the buttons I used, was the purple the basic?
The purple is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes.
Okay. The buttons were from Knit Picks. Well, not from Knit Picks, but the yarn was.
Yeah.
And for these, I used a smaller hook to make them. I used the 4mm hook. And these are, I think these crochet hooks, yeah, they're the Susan Bates?
Yes.
Yes, Susan Bates hooks. I don't know why my nose is so itchy today. So I was so happy I managed to complete these. So I will have to post both those links.
Yes.
So if you want to see the brief, how these are made, and the actual how they are made, I will link both of those down below. So the next, I'd also talked about how I had to fix the sweater I was making, which I decided to wear it today because I actually finished it. Just have to stand up and show it. You know, you're fine. You can hear that chair. So I got the second strap on here. I gotta work on how to tie off, but I have it to where the only thing I'm not happy with is how much is still here, but it goes okay. You can eventually add sleeves if you wanted. So I got where this holds up, and then I added another one so it evens this out. Otherwise, if I had these up like this, it would be all bulky, which I didn't like this, so I added a second strap just to even it out. I decided to do a striped version, so I went purple, and then I used most of the blue, I think.
Most of it.
I think I only have a small ball left of the blue for this. It might be actually, yes. Yeah. This is all I have left for the blue. For that. I only decided to go to my waist, because I decided to end it off. Every row here is decreased. The funny thing is, sit back down. The funny thing about this is, I think I started by chaining 150.
Yes, I believe so.
Because it fit. It's like, okay, 150 should be good. I'm going to tight crochet it anyway. Now, what's funny is I wound up having to decrease it by 50. But what I did was I used, where are they? I used stitch markers because I figured out the most bulkiness was in the back, so I put one here, one here. So I knew every row I did, when I got to the first stitch marker, start decreasing and then stop at the second marker. So I only decreased in a certain area to bring the back together, which I think it actually worked out quite well. But I was so happy to finish it. She was like hearing me talk. It's like, I'll be so happy when I finish this. Which it leaves me more yarn to start another project.
Yes.
Because she had gotten me for Christmas another roll of the blue and another roll of purple, but it turns out I had enough. So I have unopened yarn to start, which is ones I showed you last week. We also, while going through my yarn, we decided this was like messily. You remember that, it was in my yarn bag, but I showed it in my last video. It was in a box, so we decided to roll it into an actual yarn cake. That way it was getting so messy. So this is what the dishcloth is, which might maybe keep them dishcloths. I think to make them dishcloth. I can't remember if I have 2 gray, 1 gray, and 2 blue, and 1 gray.
1 gray and
2 blue. So I can just make them into dishcloths because I kind of lost interest in tight knitting a blanket.
Yeah.
I'd rather crochet it. I was able to take the boot cuff out of my knitting bag, which still has the unused yarn. Don't know what I'm using that for yet. Just put this back in there. But I was so happy I finished the boot cuff, finished the sweater, and I even started a new project.
Another
which
one.
is the one I have on my wrist. So I started it was going to be a wrist warmer, but I started it up here on my arm. But I'm like, no, for an actual wrist cuff, you actually want it on your wrist. And again, there was no pattern for this.
No.
I haven't really gone by a pattern yet.
We have a upcoming designer over here.
So the blue on this is the, I got some notes on the side here. This is this is just a regular blue by Craft Smart again, so the same as, I don't think this one was Craft Smart. The blue and the purple that was made for the sweater is Craft Smart. But this blue is Craft Smart, and I started by chaining 40, and I had to, it like varies between 40 and 43. It will also depend on the person. And then you just increase and decrease as you go along. I stopped mine like here, and to finish it off, I decided I just want it to be plain blue. I want to have like a special touch to it. So Bobby had some yarn from Multi-Yarn. Nope. It didn't write down where it's from.
I couldn't figure it out. I think it's a Noro brand, but I'm not 100% sure.
I know it doesn't feel the same as the Craft Smart.
No.
I think Craft Smart's all plain yarn.
Yeah.
Because it's the basic.
I ordered that off loveKnitting.com from the UK,
Okay.
but I think it's Noro.
So this is what makes up this here is just 2 lines of slip stitch. This is 1 to 2 lines, and this is 2 lines. Just to make it have some, I don't know, looks finish.
It's pretty.
Just gotta, what I told Bobby afterwards is now I just gotta figure out how I did it. So one thing about winging it. This was a figure it out as you go. So these were the 2 I used for it, and again, for the blue part, actually, I think for the blue I switched back to the red hook.
I believe you did.
I believe I used this one, because
Yes.
I felt I didn't need the big one. So for the blue, oh yeah, I have it written right there. Okay. Yes, for the blue, I did use the 5.5mm hook. And for the little border lines, I went to my 4mm hook. Now I've noticed that since I got the crochet, like the hook set,
Yes.
these are my 3 main hooks, which is the 5.5, the 6, and the 4mm, which are all by Susan Bates. I haven't had the opportunity to use the other ones yet. So now I have, so this is actually a half completed project, which that doesn't belong there. I have a half completed project. Now I just gotta figure out how to do the other one, which I guess is pretty simple, because technically you just go along your arm again and increase and decrease as you need, and it's all double crochet except for the borders, which is slip stitches.
You got it. She'll have that done within an hour.
Actually, I think I started it before we went to the laundromat, and I sent you a picture because I had Wi-Fi there before we left the mall.
Yeah, she sends me a message, and I'm like, so how's the glove coming? And she sends me a completed picture. I was like, oh.
It's actually the picture I used in the thumbnail of this video.
Yes.
That's pretty funny. It's like, how's it going? Oh, it's done. It's like, oh, that didn't take long. It's kind of like making a hat. I kind of started doing them in like a couple of hours.
She had that.
How many hats did I make? 4?
4 altogether,
Yeah.
yes.
I swore a lot during the first one, and then I started another one, and then I made 2 more, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Except, yeah, the 2 I gave away to Thomas
It
and Gracie.
wasn't even that easy for me to start, so she's awesome.
I learned by doing. I just need to have more patience with granny squares. I actually
Oh,
tried that
love
last
those.
night.
Yeah,
Except I don't understand, like, the center of it.
we could start one together or
Okay.
something.
Because I want to take that, where... I need to help with this one.
Okay.
Where that multicolored blue ball that you gave me that I'm making the circular blanket with.
Yes.
I kind of wanted to switch that, like undo it and switch it into a granny square blanket.
Sure.
But I know I'd have to get more balls for that.
Okay.
So I wonder where that color was from.
I got that from Michael's. It's,
Michael's.
Oh gosh. I can't remember now. I think it's a Lion brand. It's something cupcake, I think.
I don't think I didn't keep the, yeah.
That's okay.
Just because it was in the trailer and then you moved here.
Yes. Oh yes,
Oh,
there's
it is
like
a
yarn
snowing.
everywhere.
Look at the window, Bobby. Oh my.
We had like we woke up to a green Christmas and now there's like
it's
a
turning white.
snowstorm, so
It's gonna be white by dinner. It's
Yes.
just whether or not we have power to cook supper.
we got my boyfriend for that, so
I think he's just ignoring us. But there is always a wood stove, and wood stoves is proven to cook food just as well.
oh yes.
And who knows? What does it matter if we have to have a midnight supper
Oh
or postpone it till New Year's? Because there's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
yes.
There's plenty of opportunity to have dinner if we lose power. So I think that is what I want to do with the circular blanket, because I'm not liking how it doesn't lay flat.
Yeah.
And I can only increase so much.
Yes.
Because once I start keeping it the same, it's just going to bowl up.
Right.
So I think I might get a couple more balls of that and just do, but I don't want to do like small granny squares, and I want to actually showcase the color in the ball because it changes all the time.
Yes.
So I want to make like squares like this big.
Yeah, bigger ones.
And then put them all together.
That'll be pretty.
And maybe with this one I can gift it to somebody.
Yes. Absolutely.
I've kind of been making a lot of personal projects. Because like, if I'm starting out with a project, I kind of I'll wear it myself.
Absolutely.
That way next time I know what to do for the sweater. A little smaller. Just a smidge. Well, more like cut it down by like almost half.
For your very first sweater, it's awesome.
I could have done probably
Totally.
chaining like 70. So I was happy. I got the boot cuffs, the sweater. I'm working on wrist cuffs for myself. And I'm gonna learn how to do granny squares. I was taught before, but I kind of forget how. But for the granny square, I probably will follow a pattern. Because those are a bit more...
I think once you get the first few rows down, it's pretty simple.
Because I was
but
watching a YouTube video for,
Yes.
like, how to...
I find granny squares are one of the easier crochet projects because you don't have to worry about working in the flat, so you're not
Right.
forgetting that very end stitch, which as an experienced crocheter, I still miss that very end stitch. So I love granny square.
I still have not worked on improving my flowers yet. Those are still to come. That's when we get into future projects now.
Yes.
So we know about the granny square blanket. I also would like to... Amazon has these, like, you can get 50 balls. I think they're only like 25 grams.
Okay.
But they're for, I guess, for little things. You obviously want to make a granny square with it. But what I want to do with it, because I think I told you what I wanted to do with it.
Yes.
I wanted to make like a puff stitch flower blanket.
Yes.
So just a bunch of little flowers and then string them together. So I thought that would be cool to do with those because you can't do much else with them.
Right.
And it's actually not a bad deal on Amazon.
No, that's pretty good.
Now, another one I want to work on, Bobby actually doesn't know about it yet.
Uh-oh.
I've been this one I will follow a pattern for because I found the pattern.
Okay.
I want to make a puff stitch hat.
Oh, okay.
Except I always start from the top and go to the bottom and I feel stared at. Hi, Dad.
Watching the snow come down.
Oh, I guess we are in front of the big window.
Yes.
And I want to make, since I always start from the top and work my way down,
Yes.
I would like to start from the bottom doing the ring and then going up.
Going up?
Now the bottom, I think it shows it's a band, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's got like a neat design. Do you have one of
Okay.
your hats? I think it has something close to what you have for a brim.
They're back there, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like this but looser,
Okay.
but you go back and forth.
Right.
this, and then from here up is puff stitches.
Okay,
So I definitely want to do one of those.
for sure.
Now I seen something cool. It was not a granny square, but like a seashell pattern.
Oh,
It's like it's in the center of it, and then you
Okay.
do double crochets around it.
oh my gosh.
So I have so much I would like to try. It's just, ugh. Need yarn, and knit picks is so evil.
Very.
You just had to show me knit picks.
Yeah, I'm a total enabler.
I'm like, I went on it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna add what I like to my cart and go from there. I look in my cart. It's gonna cost me like $150 after I convert it from, because it's a U.S. site, I think.
Yes, it is.
It's in U.S. dollars, so once I like it's $100 probably before you convert it.
Right.
But after it's gonna be like $150 when you go to Canadian.
But it's so worth it.
Well, it's free shipping after a certain amount of dollars spent. So I gotta spend like, knit picks is so evil. They have all this pretty yarn and
Yes.
which I think that is the yarn you're using.
Yes.
I think you're using knit picks, right?
Yeah.
What are you making?
Well, this is my Christmas Eve cast on. Technically, it's Christmas Day, but I'm late, like usual.
It's close enough. We were actually doing a lot of stuff last night.
Yes, we were.
We went to town. Well,
yes.
Dad and I did.
Yes. Danny from the Little Bobbins podcast, she does a yearly New Year's Eve cast on, so thought I would join in this year. So it's Christmas socks. So I am just casting on a pair of just vanilla socks.
That's kind of like how the pattern goes in the hat.
Yeah, it is. I'm just doing a basic 2x2 rib, and I'm not sure what this colorway is. It's the Knit Pick Stroll Fingering. Might be the Robin's Egg colorway. And then I'm using Captain Nemo. This is Knit Fix.
I was gonna say,
Knit
that
Picks
reminds me of
Felici.
something.
What's that?
That reminded me of something. It's like that color scheme is just
Yeah, I love it.
really nice.
It's a self-striping sock, so yay!
Oh, so she is working on a sock.
Another
Yeah.
sock.
Another sock. It's actually pretty neat. I don't know if I'd have the patience to use that many knitting needles at once,
Oh.
because I only like the needles that have the ends on them
Yeah.
to stop it from sliding off.
It took me a while to get used to
Really?
knitting with all these. It's
But-
it's fiddly, but
I might try it to get the 104-piece set off of Amazon. Comes with like 70-something needles set, like
I
needles.
saw that. Yes.
Oh, I just want that. But I also want that stitch marker thing. Can never have too many stitch markers.
No.
Because I think we broke a couple. We broke the green one.
Yeah, we bought some cheapy ones, and they're not really. They're not worth it.
The other ones are here somewhere. Because I set them up, but the stand we're using to prop the phone up might be.
My desk, or my borrowed desk, I should say. It's actually my boyfriend's.
Actually, I think it's become yours.
Sort of, yeah.
I don't think this is his desk anymore.
No, he got himself a table, which was supposed to be my table, but yeah, his desk is still here, and it's like full of wool. So
You've kind of cast him to the front door.
yeah, his desk is sitting up by the front door here.
But
so
it's his desk. Just no yarn on it. We
Yeah.
already put yarn on the table.
yeah, he got up yesterday morning, and he's like, "There's yarn on the table."
We had how many rolls on the table? Oh.
Quite a few. Yeah,
There we
it
go.
goes around.
Like I said, he said no yarn in the kitchen, so it's in the dining room, being used as a backup. It's just
Yeah.
Rami. There is a garbage bag under the table,
Yeah.
and she's gotten into it how many times today?
A few times. She's hiding now, I think, because Daddy put the fear of God in her.
He doesn't let her touch the yarn.
No.
Not allowed. You need to make her like a yarn ball, like a fake yarn ball.
Yeah.
Like take a ball, glue some yarn around it pretty securely,
Yeah.
and then give it to her so she thinks it's a ball of yarn.
This cat has, I don't know how many of those balls on the floor with the bell in it. She's got 2 mice, and she's got
She
fish.
broke one of the balls.
She broke a ball
Like,
the
she
other
broke
day.
it. And then kept pawing the half of it, like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, last night I was on the computer laying in bed, and she was trying to climb up my arm. So I think that's what I'll leave my list at for projects I want to start. Granny square blanket, puff stitch hat, puff stitch flower blanket. I think I'll keep 3 on my list for now.
And probably expect about half of those projects by next episode.
I have to get the yarn first, which is not in the budget right now.
There's yarn.
I know, and I'm here for another week. Many of you guys will probably see another podcast with this background. But I also have my hands busy because I could probably get this done in less than a day. I gotta make the other wrist warmer still. Which if you don't see the video, I also posted on Facebook page, which I don't always post the Facebook page in the description box. I keep forgetting that. But I do gotta post my blog and the Ravelry page. God, why do I want to say Waverly? Oh, which explains all the boot cuffs, and now I gotta make another one for the sweater.
Yes.
Because it is finally complete. I'll have to link the social media links in the bottom.
Yep.
Again, my Instagram again, which is, I think, just Cal22 now.
Yes.
It is private, but you can still follow me. All I gotta do is accept it. Which I think is pretty well. I mean, all you gotta do is hit accept. So the only halted project I still have is the knitted squares.
Yes.
Which I don't know if blanket or dishcloths.
If you could find more of that green, then maybe a blanket, but our local Michael's isn't selling that color anymore.
And I can't find that gray anymore.
No.
But I got these 2 from Walmart.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't been able to find this blue. I can't even find the gray.
Yeah.
So they might just be halted completely. And do you feel stared at?
We're being watched.
Hi again, Dad. So that is, I guess, currently I got 2 finished projects, which I didn't last week.
Yes.
Those were simple to finish because I learned how to decrease. I got some current projects, which is going to be a lot. Do the puff stitch flower, which that won't be hard. Just take a bunch of multicolors. You're not going to be in the video, Dad. It only goes to the picture on the wall, Dad. He's like creeping over. Stay out of the video. And I got the wrist warmers on the go, and the maybe gift the dishcloths to you and Dad next time I'm down.
Okay.
Maybe just do that. But I think that's all I have to say. Is there anything you would like to add to this podcast?
I hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yes. Hope you get some holiday crocheting and knitting done. It's a perfect time for it.
Well, you know it's snowing now in New Brunswick, Canada.
Oh, yes.
What? Oh, okay. I can show the snow.
Yes.
Don't know how well you can see this. Oh, wait, yeah, you can see it. Look at all that snow. We woke up and it was green and not doing nothing. So one thing about, we need to get one of those, like, Amazon, what they have for $20.
Yes.
That one, that tripod.
Yes.
Because I don't know how long this is going to work. It hasn't fallen down for the whole podcast,
Don't shake the table.
Don't shake the desk. Kind of, we're trying to find an angle that would get both of us in it, but this kind of works because we got the Christmas tree.
Yes.
I kind of want to open that card for them, see what we're,
Oh, God. Now we're going to terrify Rami.
So this is the card I got her for Christmas. Dad, you might want to cover your ears for this one. Ready, Dad? So it said, I'd like to wish you Merry Christmas, which is all normal and that, but when you open it... We're just gonna shut that. And you see, it's not... This is why I don't open these in store.
No.
I don't know if it says anything on the inside. Yeah, I was gonna write something on the inside, but it's like, nope, not opening that. So I just wrote on the card that I think I'm gonna leave this episode here.
Yes.
And sign off and get to work on more projects.
Yes.
So I have more to show. And I'm thinking of maybe doing a video, an in-between video, of how I actually set up how I plan out my video and keep a track of everything. And I will get to work on that sweater blog. So I hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
And comment what I should do with the dishcloth.
Yes.
And maybe any future projects that I might be able to work on. And that sock is really coming along.
Yes, it is.
I want to wish you all Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I will see you, and maybe you'll see Bobby Lee, in my next podcast.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.